out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game.
Over.
You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnop.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark.
Coming up in the next 2.5 hours, we will have Marva in Miami. We'll talk about all the rumors circulating about Hubert Davis's job down in North Carolina. Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner and Mike Burnop. I believe that's everybody. I don't think I left anyone out. If I did, it's all my fault.
Sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
Going over the guest list just in case.
Lighten up the dark.
Morning, Stephen. Good morning, Prometheus. You bringer of fire, you.
Rick's in the zone,
TLB, how you doing? Top of the morning to you. Terrible Irish accent.
Big Dog Sports Talk,
Top of the morning.
lighten up the dark.
There we go. Hey, it's per your request. People on the professional door text line say, hey, when you're broadcasting from your Family Fencing Studios, and you're not talking about all the folks who are on your McClellan Chiropractic chat line, make sure you play the theme song all the way through. There you go. From 1991, when I first bought season football tickets and became a Hokie Club member, to this very day, there are coaching decisions that I wish we could not remember. Bigfoot is real, and so is BDST. So there's a new, along those lines, I've been pretty distressed since Sunday. Apparently coming out in April, there's a documentary. It's called Capturing Bigfoot, and it supposedly unveils that the Patterson film from 1967, which is probably one of the most watched pieces of footage in the history of mankind since it came out, was a hoax. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, no, really? And I've always fallen on the lines of it, right? Because everybody here knows I'm a Bigfoot enthusiast. It's just something that the potential of it's intriguing, sure, but the mythology, all of it, the intrigue, the frightening aspect of it has always brought me in. Ever since I read a book called The Bigfoot Case Book when I was a kid. My dad had it, and I read it. And he loves stuff like that. So anyway, everybody knows what I'm talking about, the 67 Patterson footage. You know, the famous walk through the California woods and the turn back, you know, as she's looking at the camera. And it's been debated for 60 years, and you've had people that have been skeptics. You've had experts just dedicate their whole lives to Patty. Dr. Jeff Meldrum, God rest his soul, is apparently in this movie, and he has shown this footage. And apparently again, these are just people talking about it. I don't think it comes out to mid-April. It's called Capturing Bigfoot. And I'm guessing one of the streaming carriers will pick it up, like Netflix or something. And apparently he's very disappointed, and he kind of is stunned by what he sees. So I don't know. But apparently it has like 50 seconds of a run through. And the debate's coming in whether this was done before, was it done after? So I don't know. But people are saying that the suit that is used during the run through looks just like Patty, which has been one of the biggest reasons people have said it's real is because of the suit, or if it was a suit, why wasn't it replicated? People have tried to replicate that walk, and the suit looks like crap. How could they make a suit that advanced in 1967? So I'm a little distressed thinking, and I guess it's not the shock of finding out for sure that it was a dude in a suit. But apparently Roger Patterson's son, the maker of the film, is on there. He was estranged from his father. His mom is on there. And apparently they also say at the very end, of course, Bob Gimlin is the cowboy who was with Bob Patterson. He's like 94, 95 now. And apparently at the end, I don't know if it's the filmmaker or two people in the movie, go and, hey, it's about time that you came clean on this, and he apparently agrees. So I don't know what it's going to look like. We'll see. I want to see it for myself. The Bigfoot community is all up in arms, but there are people who have channels even who have an income stream because of the Bigfoot channels that saw it. It was a private screening. It was just kind of strange down in Texas. So it was only shown to a handful of people, but those people were saying that it absolutely debunks it, that it was all fake. So we'll see. Morris says, I received my Hokie Club annual statement yesterday. 35 years I've been a member and season ticket holder. What does that mean, you asked? It means Morris is old. See, you're just like a fine wine. Clearly, you're vintage. I don't look at it as being old, Morris. You're vintage. See, you're down in the Palm Coast. You go golfing, what, how many times a week? You're vintage. But don't think that after I watch Capturing Bigfoot, I'm not going to have a special show completely dedicated to capturing Bigfoot. And if I see it, and it does contain the things that people are saying it contains, that it was then I'll go, you know what? That's very disappointing, because the whole potential, even though deep down you may go, that's probably a dude in a suit. But it's withstood the time for 60 years almost 60 years. But now with AI, do I even trust this filmmaker? I don't know, because you can make things look older. AI is amazing. Scary. But yeah, we'll have a whole breakdown on it. Family fencing will never break down. See what I did there? The fences at Family Fencing will never break down. Get a free quote, 540-200-8294 at familyfencingnrv.com. Mark Hunley and McClellan Chiropractic, sponsor of our chat room. He's the absolute best. Go see him if you have a back issue and you're not feeling great. 155 Walters Drive over in Christiansburg. Got it confirmed yesterday afternoon. People said it was packed at the Speedway this weekend, thanks to Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment with Tim and Jonathan Sweet. We'll probably try to have Jonathan on. I'm going to reach out to him today, see if we can get him on maybe later in the week to talk about the weekend. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. That's Charles Lee. Give him a call. We're cold again. It's 30 degrees this morning. Yay. The attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. We got to come up with a question. I don't have a question. Ryan, are you out there? National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of BDST and yours truly for 35 years. Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage doors. That's Travis Williams in Dublin, right across from the NRCC. Operations for 38 years. And they've now expanded regionally. They're that good. ReadySetFund.com. Hut. Bob Christ, CRST11 at Gmail. Again, you can raise money for your group, event, sports team, whatever it might be, through a series of text messages. Reach out to Bob, ReadySetFund.com. It's terrific. Sundown Electric, one of the best reputations of any company around down in Elliston. Just go look at the reviews, talk about their attention to detail, their honesty, their craftsmanship, and they communicate constantly with what's going on and what they're going to be doing, what days they're going to be at your property, whatever it might be. Reach out to Sundown Electric. Thanks to Jeff Smith and what he and his brother are doing is amazing. It's awesome. Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, 4377 Lee Highway. I want to thank Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. You can give James a call, 540-381-8011. And the NRV Super Bowl, where you can go watch the Sweet 16 this weekend in bowl. They'll have the games up, 382-5525. I don't think you can go to a bowling alley and not feel good. So go there and hang out with everybody at the NRV Super Bowl. Terry and Amanda do a great job. They've done a great job. It's awesome. Morris says fine wines can go bad once they are uncorked. It's better than any AI Bigfoot. I agree with you. 100%. 100%. But being that old, and yet it's held the test of time to where people can't necessarily debunk it up until apparently now, says a whole lot, doesn't it, Prometheus? I think the next time I tee it up, I will envision a picture of Seth Greenberg on it. Swing as hard as I can, open face. The ball plants into an oak tree. That's pretty good. So what did I do here? I have some numbers. Here we go. All right. So this is interesting, and I want to get your take. So on Thursday, I see, Prometheus, here's the thing. Exactly. So hang on before we get into the March Madness numbers. So the people that have been skeptical of this whole thing, right? The people that have been skeptical of this whole thing and have always said it was fake are jumping all over this saying, see, we told you so. Immediately giving all the credibility in the world to this documentary that they haven't seen yet. They haven't even seen it. They're citing, one of the biggest things against it was Roger Patterson was always looking to make a buck, and he knew this was going to be something big, and it has been. It's endured the test of time. The family has benefited. Well, what do you think the new filmmakers are trying to do? And why now, when it's coming up on the 60-year anniversary of Patty, right? Why now? Why now? And it might very well be true. Maybe this footage is real. I don't know. But they're trying to make money as well. That's why they released it to a certain amount of people. It was a very selective invitation group at a very, highbrow theater down in Texas, down in Austin, Texas. So I see, and there are some reputable Bigfoot channels where they claimed, a couple of the guys said they saw it, and they're very disappointed because now they believe it was fake. And look, if it shows that and it's real, okay, it'll be disappointing. It doesn't disprove Bigfoot. That's the thing. It's not like it disproves it. This has just been the one piece of footage that has lasted the test of time. And the thing that makes me kind of, and I don't mean this morbidly at all, but you know how when couples who have been together 50 years, 60 years, and one side of the partnership passes away, and then very shortly the other, like let's say the wife passes away or the husband, and then the wife or husband will stay on a little longer, and then they pass away because, they've lost their partner. Jeff Meldrum, who's actually, they show him reacting to this thing. He saw this thing about a year ago. He died shortly after he saw this piece of this documentary and the footage of what is supposedly the run through in the exact same suit. And you wonder, was he so crushed that his whole life, his whole dedication, he risked his professional reputation? He had the largest footprint collection of anybody in the world. Do you think maybe that it crushed his soul to the point he lost his will to live? I don't know. I'm just speculating. So I'm going to see it. I don't think you go see it. I think it comes to you on one of your streaming services, but I'm going to watch it as soon as it's available. And I'm going to keep an open mind. And if it does debunk it, then I'll be the first to say it did. Have I always believed it? I don't know. I've always wanted to. I think it's just the fact that you want to believe in that stuff. It's kind of fun. Have I ever thought, yeah, that's a Bigfoot? Not really. Have I ever thought, that's not real? No. But it's the ambiguity of the legend, the mythology, the lore, right? That's why we go back to it. TLB says, I've come across black bear 3 occasions, each in Giles County. Yeah, you got to be careful. Since I've been in Reiner, I've had a couple of black bear sightings. One was when I was still just doing the show on the radio, and I was driving through Fairview Church here in Reiner. And as you get up to the end of Dairy Road, everybody knows where that is if you're over here, that intersection, there was a black bear running on the side of the road. This is, night, it's still dark because I had to be down there about an hour before the show to get things ready. And he was running on the side of the road. So there was nobody on the road. So I just kind of stopped. My headlights picked him up, and he's trying to, my truck is there, and he's trying to get out of the way, but there was nothing to the right. So we got to that intersection, right? As he's running up the fence line, he was, medium sized. He wasn't huge. And we got to the intersection, and he went right down, right down Dairy Road. And then there was a smaller one time. I would call it an adolescent black bear. And then he jumped over the fence close to the same area. Well, Wayne, I knew this would be something you'd be interested in. What it is a documentary. You can look it up. It's called Capturing Bigfoot. And it comes out April 15th. And it supposedly has never before seen footage of a a reel of film that was allegedly in a trunk for almost 60 years, showing the run through from Roger Patterson, Bob Gimblin, and the gentlemen that were in the suit, in the exact same suit, debunking Patty. Now, there are a couple of Bigfoot channels that I follow, subscribe to, and please follow, like, and subscribe our channel. And one of the gentlemen saw it. It was a private screening. I think they showed it for 2 days at a film festival in Texas. And one of the gentlemen is saying without any doubt that this is going to disprove that piece of footage after all these years. So I don't know. I want to see it, obviously. It's going to be something I'm anticipating. Comes out in mid-April. As soon as it's released, I'm there. I don't care what streaming service is on. If I don't have it, I'm going to buy it just for that week anyway, so I can watch it a couple times and see. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions surrounding the documentary too. But this filmmaker apparently has won some award. He's not some hack. He's some guy who's got a good reputation for being a, what do you call them? Would it be a documenteur? A documentarian? And I saw an interview with him. He goes, look, I wasn't out to disprove any of this. He goes, I've never even thought about Bigfoot. But this roll canister of film was found, and then it all came together. I don't know how they got put together. Roger Patterson's son is part of it. So we'll find out. We'll find out. I want to see it. What bothers me the most is there are people talking about it like this is this inescapable proof, and they haven't even seen the damn thing. They're just going on what hearsay of people, what they're saying about it. Look, I'm telling you, man. The AI parts of what's going on are so advanced. It's hard for me to tell. I can tell. Like our video director and I, Brian Yohe, we were looking at things that were real. It had been replicated with AI, and you really have to see. And when he starts seeing, he's kind of an expert in it. You can tell certain things. But again, even if it's true, and this whole Patterson thing, as many have always believed that it was a hoax, it doesn't disprove that there could be something out there. It just means that, but this is the most scrutinized piece of film. And somebody said the other day, talking about this over the weekend, that it was maybe the second most watched piece of just footage ever. JFK, assassination of JFK, and this Patty, Bigfoot. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, we're just going to have to go to Washington and find it ourselves. But it doesn't disprove Bigfoot. It just means this piece of evidence. But it has been the one that's been held up for so long. And why 60 years later? Why was there just a random piece? Why was there just a random canister found in a trunk after 60 years? And if you were going to create this hoax, if you're Roger Patterson, because apparently it belonged to him, why would you keep the run-through footage? His son apparently claims in the documentary that he watched his dad burn the suit in the backyard in an oil drum. Again, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some of the other things that have been said about all this. Will put me in the sexy Bigfoot costume and lure him out. So let's say this is true. And it's funny, I'm getting a lot of text message on our professional door text line. See, people, I'm telling you, people love Bigfoot. Is it going to convince me it doesn't exist? No. I'm going to be disappointed more than anything else because of the ambiguity that the Patterson film has always had attached to it. If Bob Gimlin was lying for 60 years, that's going to be very disappointing. I've watched several interviews with him, documentaries. He has said this, he's defended it and said it actually happened. He's told the same story. Why now? Supposedly he comes out, Wayne, apparently at the end, now he's like 94 now. And apparently he's suffering from severe dementia. So, but they're trying to say at the end, they approach him and he admits to it all being fake. But his family intervenes, like, what are you doing over? What are you bothering him for? He can't even understand what we tell him half the time. So I don't know. I just know if you go anywhere on YouTube, I tell you what, after the show, go to your YouTube and just type in capturing Bigfoot and you'll see discussions on it. And we're going to do a huge show on it separate from this show right after I've watched it. And Wayne, I think it comes out April 15th. April 15th. And I guess it's going to come to Netflix or Prime. They're trying to sell the rights, clearly, because it's getting that's why they released it now to a private screening down in Austin. I think there were 2 days of screenings. I don't know how you got an invite. And then you get a little skeptical, right? Because you have a lot of shills online that when they get access to see a movie or early or pre-screening, then they have to come out. The agreement they have is you have to go out and talk glowingly about it. Well, everyone that I've seen who's seen it is acting like this is going to be indisputable proof that Patty is not real, that it was somebody in a suit. Bob Hieronymus has always said that he was the one walking in that famous shot. And they're talking about the angle of the shot and the distance and how, you could have a guy who's 6 feet tall instead of someone who's 8 feet like this been claimed. And then apparently there was another gentleman who was very wealthy at the time in Yakima, Washington, and I can't remember his name, but he was apparently in the suit. They're claiming that the shot with Hieronymus, the famous turn shot, where she looks at the camera, and then there's another one where it's walking separately with a taller gentleman is the other gentleman, and apparently that gentleman is in the run-through. But the reason that the ones who have the Bigfoot channels are saying that it's proof that Patty's not real is that the suit is exactly the same. So that's what I'm very curious about, because they've never been able to replicate the suit. Hollywood costume creators have said that for 1967, there wasn't technology available. Well, unless some cowboy really got lucky and put together the perfect costume. Now, there have been people that immediately debunked it. I know visual effects artists have immediately debunked it and said, hey, look, you can tell, blah, blah. Well, you can't really tell. They're saying it was, but here's the thing, here's the red flag, and then I'll get off of this, but it's important to me. They're saying that this footage that they found, and I think it's like 55 seconds of the alleged run-through that happened a year before or a yearish before is what they're claiming. They're saying that footage is really clear. You know how the Patty footage looks like it was filmed by a guy who had a handheld, old-timey camera that got thrown from his horse and it's jumping and they're all saying that was all contrived, that was part of the whole thing, that Patterson knew enough about filmmaking, which I find hard to believe. He was just a cowboy. Now, he was a guy that wanted to make a buck, and he didn't have a great reputation personally around people who knew him. But to me, that just sounds like there was a lot of planning in 1967. And it's fooled people for 60 years. Well, they're saying that this footage of the walkthrough footage is like really clear. Like you're watching me now. And that gives me a little bit of pause. I'm thinking, all right. So if this has been on a reel in a case for almost 60 years, it was developed on the Kodachrome, the original Kodachrome film. How is it so much clearer than the other? So I'm a little, the only way you're going to know is when we watch the documentary. But yeah, go into your YouTube. There are already several channels discussing it. It's interesting if you just want to have something on while you're at work today in the background. Watch the discussion. There's one called Hairy Man. He's so emphatic about it being that Patty's now fake, and he didn't, but he's so emphatic this is true. It makes me think he was paid to say it, to be honest. He comes across as somebody who's like, and that's what happens. Studios do that all the time. And that's my whole thought, Wayne. It is a heck of a plan from a guy who was a radio cowboy. Now, he was all about making a documentary about Bigfoot. He did. And has always been the skeptics who say, hey, it's kind of convenient how he came up on one down in Cedar, but the place he happened to be, there's always going to be skeptics over everything. There are going to be skeptics over this too. But no, to answer your questions on the text line, no, it's not going to disprove the whole possibility of Bigfoot, of a bipedal, undiscovered creature. No, it just means that this one's going to be, it's going to be very disappointing. And the thing, if you missed it, Wayne, Dr. Jeff Meldrum's in this documentary, and he is shown this, and his reaction is shown. And apparently they're claiming that Dr. Meldrum, this is before he passed away, so this thing's been out, been produced for a while, that he says it looks like to him this is a run through. They say he got tears in his eyes, and then he just walks away. He died shortly after he saw this film. And it makes me wonder if, we talked about how you lose your spouse if you've been together 50, 60 years, older people, and then you hang on for a little while, and then you go ahead and say, you know what, she's gone, he's gone, I'm going to go too. Yeah, I'm not trying to be morbid, but Dr. Meldrum was the authority, was the absolute authority on Bigfoot. He was held up as everybody went to him. He had the biggest footprint collection ever. Did it destroy him to the point where he lost his will to live? I don't know. But he died shortly after he saw this. That is a fact. Now, he was battling cancer, we found out, but did he just all of a sudden give up? I don't know. But then there are people who are saying, well, after he saw this footage, he never gave another interview about it. But yet, before he had passed, after I restarted the show here on YouTube, I reached out to him. He'd been on the show a couple of times, and they were great. People loved hearing from him. He was so good, such a genteel, what a nice man. And he had responded saying, hey, Rick, yeah, I remember Big Dog. I got some things I'm trying to get done, I'm dealing with here, and I'll reach back out to you. Well, we found out that, he was battling cancer. And then the second time I reached out, I didn't hear back. And then about 10 days later came the news that he had passed away. So, and I didn't know anything about this documentary, about him being in it, apparently. Not apparently, he's in it. And they're just filming his reaction. And apparently he gets very emotional. So maybe it does debunk that piece of footage. It's going to be a big deal. I'll tell you that. And I just looked it up. It is supposedly now even more watched than the JFK assassination footage. I don't know how they decide that kind of thing, what got the most views or not. But anyway, we're going to have a special BDST Capturing Bigfoot edition the evening after I've watched it, or the next day after I've watched Capturing Bigfoot. But type it into YouTube when you're done with the show, and you'll get a lot of people already talking about it. They've either seen it or they're talking about the reaction to it. So Marva's going to join us here in a second. All right, so through the first 48 games, of the NCAA women's basketball tournament, the average point differential was 22.5 points. Last year, it was almost 24. The women's basketball NCAA tournament is going to be chalk once again. And I don't know how you feel about that, but that's just the way it's going to go. On the men's side, they have announced that the first Thursday, last Thursday, was the most watched Thursday ever. So fans are flocking to college basketball. It was just announced as well that the NBA is coming off the most least watched month that it's ever recorded. So what you have is this. You have people loving basketball because they're watching the NCAA tournament, and people loving basketball not watching the NBA. Yeah, I know, Wayne. I know. It breaks my heart thinking about Jeff Meldrum's reaction. And if you listen to the show when you heard those interviews. I mean, he was wonderful. And if that was the thing that gave him I just told him he didn't need to worry about trying to fight to save his life. I mean, I don't know. It's sad. That makes me sad. But yeah, check it out. Let me know what you think. Capturing Bigfoot. You can type it into your YouTube search after you've watched this program. Don't leave us. And there's probably new videos every day coming out about it, the reaction of it. I want to hear from more people who actually saw it as opposed to people speculating. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Did he have to come to the realization that his life work was debunked by that film? But apparently he's on film saying, well, it certainly looks like this is a run through for the famous Patty footage. And apparently they get a close up and you can see tears get in his eyes. So I don't know. Maybe that's just dramatic. We'll see. Yeah, the league needs to change. The league can't change. The NBA is a terrible product, and they've allowed it to happen. Veteran players are always speaking out against it. I guess you can say the expectation the players have to know they're going to be able to miss 10 to 15 games. It's not that big a deal to them. Coaches saying the season should be shorter. They had a fight in the stand. I mean, you see every night. It's just the culture of the league is really bad. Really, really bad. It's like Keon realizing MJ is truly the best, which he is. It's really the most nothing argument in sports history, right? The fact that people still want to try to say that Michael Jordan is not the greatest basketball player. I don't know what to tell you. You either grew up in an era where it was just LeBron and you haven't appreciated it, or you just don't like basketball. It's just silly. It's just silly. And I saw the best argument. I don't know what former NBA player it was. You know what? It was Shaq. It was Shaq who said, look, not only was he the best player, he was bigger than the game, and he made the game into what it became. He took the game to a level that no one ever thought it would get to, or that league. And that's the thing. Just go see what former player. If you don't want to believe me or other people, go look at what players are saying. All right? But if you walk around thinking LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way, KB. Even Rick can take and miss most shots 10 times in a season. Joining us now on the program, there she is. And I guarantee you she'll back me up on that. Marva in Miami. Hey, Marva, who's the greatest basketball player of all time, unprompted?
Is this a joke? It's Michael Jordan.
Thank you very much, Marva. There you go.
What is today? It's Tuesday. I don't understand.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed since he started playing basketball. Yeah. So, how are you?
Oh, Rick, it's been a rough time. It has been a rough time.
I know.
Like, you know how much I love basketball. Like,
I
love college basketball, and of course, I love the Carolina Tar Heels. And to see what happened last week, like that complete collapse,
19
to have
points.
your team be up 19 in the second half, or up 19 in the second half.
Second half, right.
Yes.
Right.
And then have this happen. I was just devastated. You know, like I said, I love college basketball, so I'm not just watching UNC. After that game, I had to turn the TV off, and I couldn't watch any more basketball. I couldn't watch any news. I couldn't go on social media. Like, I had to take a break because I could not hear it. I didn't want to see it. I just, again, total devastation. The next day, I was able to watch some games. Then kind of by the weekend, but I couldn't watch like discussion of it. I still couldn't go on social media. I didn't want to hear anything about it. So I think it was finally maybe, because this was on Thursday, it was finally maybe Saturday evening into Sunday, I could like inch back and just to see what people were saying. And of course, this was the time people are already saying, you know, they're thinking about Hubert Davis's future. You know, Hubert Davis may not be back. Then I was reading reports they didn't want to do anything while the women were still playing. Carolina's women are in the Sweet 16. They have a big contest, though, this weekend. They're going to be facing UConn.
They won't be around much longer.
Hey, there are all kinds of upsets in March, right?
Not in women's basketball.
There are all kinds of upsets, Rick. Okay? It shocked the world. It would be definitely shocking. But
all 4 number 1 seeds are going to go to the Final Four.
It's
mark it down.
And 1 number 4 seed.
No, they're all going to be number 1s. It's going to be UConn, UCLA. Who was the other one? South Carolina. It was Texas, the other number. Whoever. It's going to be all number 4, number 1 seeds.
You know, we could have a number 4. A lot of people I'm hearing are saying that a number 4 seed could make it, and that number 4 seed would be the Carolina Tar Heels. That's what I'm hearing. A lot of people saying. But you know, last night my family watched part of the South Carolina USC game, and it was okay. I'm sorry, my daughter is in the background. Please
ignore me. What's going on?
But yeah, because it was such a blowout. Like, South Carolina was giving it to, like, I think in the first quarter, USC scored 8 points. That's how sad it was. They scored 8 points in the first quarter.
8?
8? I think it was 8. You can go.
8? It was 8.
Okay, she's talking. She can't keep quiet.
That's okay. Right.
But yeah, it was.
Start having you on together. That'd be great.
No, it's spring break week. That's why they're here. But no.
Oh.
But yeah, it was absolutely devastating about, you know, what happened with Carolina in the men's side. I mean, to lose, like, you know, when you have the tournament, there are always going to be some losses. Like, I feel there's some teams that lost over the weekend. There were some great games, buzzer beaters. You know, it's just part of March. And I think if Carolina had even lost on a buzzer beater, people might even feel a little bit differently. But to be that dominant, to come out, because everybody's saying, what's Carolina going to do without Caleb Wilson? And to come out and play so well that first half into the second half, again, up 19 points, and then just to see it all fall away like that. It was just absolutely devastating. And it was things that have been happening all year. Carolina's had been situations where they had big leads and let them go.
Yep.
They've been in situations where they got down big and then were able to make comebacks, or in some cases they were successful, some cases not, but still to bring it back to where the final score looked respectable. But yeah, just utter devastation. Like, I could not I couldn't talk to anyone about it. It was just that, you know, when you lose like at the last second, you just say, "Oh, well, that's a fluke shot." These things, crazy things happen. But to have the game seemingly in the bag, and then to lose like that, it's just
so I sent you a text because a coach I know very well sent me a text saying that Hubert immediately the next day was telling people he was going to be fired.
Well, he may have been. A lot of strange things happened.
Nothing. We haven't heard anything since then, right? So,
yeah,
and I sent you that text because I was like, "Oh, I better let
Mm-hmm.
Marva know." That's what I was just told that he's gonna. So,
I see Wayne said I'm in black because I'm mourning. No, this is actually, I don't know, you guys can see. This is a Miami Marlins shirt.
She's in baseball mode. She's moved on.
This is actually a bit spring. It's baseball season.
It starts this week, by the way. People don't even know baseball starts this week because it's just like, who cares?
But I mean, a lot of people I think are waiting for the Marlins to begin.
Marlin pride.
Yes. So this is that's my Miami Marlins shirt. Miami Marlins. Yes. So, yeah, you sent me that text, and you know I've started to hear things as well, and the narrative that is coming out now has been reported now by a lot of different outlets is that the boosters do not say they're going to close their wallets if the school doesn't get rid of Hubert Davis.
I know.
And at a lot of schools, they are the people, the big money donors. They kind of run things.
They do. Absolutely.
And so, you know, if they are not happy, and if they're saying we're not going to pay the money, then what is the school going to do? The last thing I've heard is that they were not going to pay the money, but they would manage to come up with the money to do the buyout for Hubert Davis, which is pretty expensive. I believe it's $5 million. So, I mean, it's a very tough thing. And I did not watch again after the game. I turned it off. I didn't watch any more coverage. But when I saw the post-game press conference, he sounded like a defeated man. He really
sounded like he knew he was like he'd been told he was not going to be there anymore. That's what it looked like.
Or either he had been told or he just kind of felt that. You know, he just sounded like a defeated man. It was really sad.
He did.
I mean, it was a very bad thing to watch. He normally has his coach's show. It would have been on Monday night. That would have been his final show of the season since they had lost. That show was canceled. He canceled
the radio show, right?
He did not do the show. And they were talk that it took him a long time to talk to his assistants after that loss on Thursday night. So, you know, it doesn't look good. I don't know. I mean, someone was asking me if I think he should be retained. I mean, and as I mentioned to you, Rick, I thought he might get another chance because people would say, "Oh, you didn't have your best player." And that's true. He did not have his best player, didn't have Caleb Wilson, but to go out there and dominate the way they did without Caleb, I just don't know. And there were just the substitutions were odd. You know, in the second half, Carolina didn't do much substituting at all. And the VCU coach later came out and said it looked like Carolina players, their players were tired. And so that kind of amped us up that they were tired and we still had a lot of fight in us. So, you know, why the substitutions weren't as they normally were, Carolina was not getting a lot of bench production in that game. Even when Carolina was doing well, wasn't getting a lot of bench production. But, there's a little help here and there. So just a lot of questions hanging over his head. And just
I think he's done.
Yeah. It does seem that way. And
coaches know. Other coaches know. When they hear things, that usually happens, right?
Yeah.
They know.
We'll see. And I think the issue, though, is they said, because of what he has done for the program, I know for me as a fan, it's given me some of the most incredible wins. And I'm thinking back to, Coach K's final game at Cameron when nobody gave Carolina a chance to go in there and win that game. And I'm just saying this to me as a fan, I would appreciate this.
I know.
And I also appreciate the love that he has for the program.
He's the thing he never lived down. And you know this, he became the only coach. He became the only coach to have the preseason #1 to not make the tournament.
Yes.
And I don't think Carolina boosters ever forgave him for that. I don't think he ever was able to go beyond that. I really don't.
I think he needed to make a bigger run in this tournament, even without Caleb Wilson. I think he needed to do that.
And I think he was told that. Told that. So when he lost that game, I think he's sitting there, what you said earlier, I think he's sitting there going, well, I'm done. They told me I needed to win at least a game or two, and I didn't. So
and he just didn't. He just, like I said, he looked like a defeated man.
He did.
And what I've also heard is they're trying to figure out some kind of way to allow him to like save face in the situation. So they're talking about they won't even call it a firing.
I saw that.
A mutual decision, or they'll do something. And because he does have this great love for the program, but he has great love for Dean Smith and for the history and all of that, and also what he did for the program when he was a player. So I don't think they want it to be an ugly situation.
A mean thing. They don't want it to be a mean thing.
They don't want it to be a mean thing. And a lot of people didn't like the way the whole Mac Brown situation was handled. So they want it not to be that. But I'm also hearing about the money. People say that they've got to be prepared to throw football coach money at basketball.
Who would you want? Now, Carolina's one of the. I mean, let's just say it the way it is. Carolina's one of the top 3 blue bloods of all time. So this isn't just walking into Murray State and becoming the head coach. This is North freaking Carolina, the place that produced the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yes. So, and what I was hearing a lot over the weekend is that Carolina wanted to go after Florida's coach. And I thought that was interesting. Especially the way Todd Golden, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
The way he went out of the tournament.
He's a toolbox.
That looks, and I've also heard that he is not the greatest guy.
I hope not.
So then you go from a guy that people were, not satisfied with everything that he did, but everybody says he's a stand-up guy. Like I've never heard anybody say Hubert Davis is not a stand-up guy, right? That's kind of the impression that people got of him. And, some people criticized him for certain things, like just to me, silly things, like the fact that, he doesn't curse like that. And he's not one of those, like, I'm going to get in a player's face type coach. And he's been criticized for that. He doesn't have the intensity. And to go from that to that would be surprising. And the way he went out of the tournament, I mean, a lot of people have been pointing out there was coaching blunders there that happened. So I don't know who they're going to go, but they're going to go for a name. I don't think they're going for an up and coming person.
No,
I think they're going for a name. I mean, there have been talks about people say we should try to get Jay Wright to come out of retirement. And I'm like, is he?
I love Jay Wright. He's a great guy.
He's a great coach.
Hell of a coach too.
He is. But would he come out of I mean, is he happy? Does he want to go back into that again?
I don't know.
I don't know. But the talk is that they are going after a name, a proven entity to come in and coach. But I do hope that they get someone who, yes, knows the game, yes, is a winner, but also I would love them to get someone that shows, there is still, character still counts. I would hate for them to come in and get someone who wins, but that person is kind of, I mean, there's some people around the game right now that everybody knows that they're winners, but
Nate Oates. Yeah, that was the name I'd heard.
You don't want them around. You may not want them around your family. I mean, stuff like that,
Nate Oates was the name that I've heard.
Yes, I've heard that name also.
But you know what? That wouldn't be terrible. Mark Byington. Now, you're not going to fire Hubert Davis to hire Mark Byington. I like Mark. Mark's a great dude. He's a great interview, but I don't think it'll be Mark Byington. It could be. You never know. But Nate Oates seems to fit.
Yes, I've heard that too. But for the weekend, everybody was talking about Todd Golden, and then I just thought it was interesting.
The meltdown against Iowa and the fight.
The way they lost also was very bad. And I can't tell you how many times I heard people talking about how.
Yeah, he put on a press. The last thing you want to do is give up a three. Well, when you're pressing like that, you're going to likely give up a three. Why didn't you just have everybody playing back to guard the perimeter? He's being heavily criticized for that strategical blunder there at the end of the Iowa game.
I mean, because that's the one thing you could not have.
You don't press when you a two, and you're still playing basketball. A three,
and you got to feel good about your chances, right? Being
correct.
Number
one seed.
Yeah. So
he blew that.
But, there's still people though saying that he would be great, because he won it all last year, and he did. He won it all last year, but so.
Well, he might be. He might get to Carolina and realize, that whole thing may have just been something that blew up. I don't know. We'll see. But
everybody makes mistakes, and mistakes coaches make in March are magnified, by 1,000.
Oh, they are.
So I feel like the people are saying what they can lure him with. Obviously, it's a lot of money, football type coach money, and with the idea that you go to Carolina and you're king. At Florida, even though they won it all last year, football is still, football rules everything. And I think people are saying, you found this money to pay Belichick. It didn't work out, or it hasn't worked out so far.
It's not going to work out.
I try to still be hopeful, Rick. I'm trying. Please don't.
There's no chance.
Please don't pour water on the dreams that we hold in the off season. Okay.
No.
But no, don't.
Whatever Marquise Williams saw, and he was that disgusted. That's what I believe the Carolina program is. When you have a guy like that go, I'm not going back. Yeah. I don't want to think about North Carolina football.
Yeah. But Rick, we again, in the off season, everybody's hopes are riding high, right? You gotta, we're gonna win it all.
Not in Carolina. That's not.
We're gonna win. It's gonna be a great turnaround for him. It's gonna be wonderful. But yeah,
is he still with Jordan? Are they still together?
Well, I haven't heard anything about them. Thankfully, I haven't heard anything about them in months.
They broke up, didn't they? Didn't they break up?
I don't know. Again, Rick, stop this. I don't want to talk about them.
That's what's important.
I hadn't thought Carolina about football. Them. Rick, stop it. I haven't thought about them in weeks, if not months. I have not thought about them, and then you bring them up.
But her name's Jordan, Michael Jordan. How could you not think about her? She's so lovely. Anyway, the most important question to ask Marva, since it's very pertinent. Have you ever believed in Bigfoot? Or down in Florida, it's called the skunk ape. Did you believe the Patty footage? Because now it's coming under huge scrutiny with this new documentary.
It's not something I've ever given any thought about, but I have read a book about the Loch Ness Monster.
Hey, well, that counts. You're close.
Yeah, Loch Ness Monster seems like it was just a big hoax.
It was.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting book. I read about that once. It was not my choice. I had to read that for work. It's a crazy thing. But
yeah, it is. You know the famous scene where it shows the neck coming out of the water? Mm-hmm. Well, they found the guy. They have the actual model now that they use. The guy said, yeah, and it was yeah. So
just
they knew
fun,
that.
Or a way to make money to get people to come and see. And
what they say about Patty. That's her name, by the way, Patty, in the famous footage, Roger Patterson film. Yeah.
But Bigfoot, I have not. I mean, we don't need mythical.
Yeah,
they're real. I mean, we got pythons down here. We
That's true.
And crocodiles.
Yeah, where you are.
Mythical beast. Okay,
that's true. You're in Miami. You can go to the grocery store. Oh, look, there's 3 crocodiles. Or what do you have? Crocodiles or alligators down there?
Actually, in this part of South Florida, they have both.
Oh,
they're not
both.
Native, but we have both. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. There's so many signs. There's a lot of bodies of water down here, of course, and a lot of them have signs. Do not go in the water. Do not feed crocodiles. So, yeah, I don't know why people would ever do that. I mean, we have huge iguanas down here, Rick. I've sent pictures to friends, like near where I live. Like there have been iguanas. I could go up and I could touch them if I wanted to, but of course I don't. I have sat in my car before because there was a big iguana and I waited for the iguana to move before I came inside.
Last week.
Oh, so they're still together.
Yeah.
What is that on her shirt? Why does she have go-go boots on? I have so many questions.
There you go.
Oh, so they're still. Who sent you this? Like, who is doing this?
Wayne, my unofficial researcher. He finds
Wayne. You're too invested in this.
Wayne knows that he really loves Jordan. He does. He's a
Wayne.
big
You
fan.
got to stop. Okay, me to you. Just Wayne, stop. Okay.
So who your Marlins open up with?
Oh my gosh. I knew you were going to ask me that. I had that,
Starts on Wednesday,
Yes. They're there. It's no.
Tomorrow.
The Marlins open their season up on Friday, the 27th.
Yeah,
okay?
I think you have
and they're playing the Rockies.
Giants.
Okay. Ooh. They're playing the Rockies at home. So we are all very hopeful. And I know you're probably going to devote Monday's show to breaking down everything the Marlins did. So
the Rockies. Wow, that's going to be heavily
Colorado
attended.
Rockies. You've heard of that.
That's going to be heavily attended. That Rockies series.
If I wanted to go, and I do want to go, but I'm not going to be able to because I'm sure it's sold out. It's probably been sold out for weeks. I'll look and see. If I could maybe talk to someone and that can get me in, but that place is going to be sold out
Behind the curtain there.
Wait, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to know the right people, right? It's going to be like a guy. I'm sorry, we're full up here.
Yeah, I got to see, if somebody can help me.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think you could probably go in the day of and get a good seat right above first base.
I know. I mean, when we get off the air, I'm going to look, but I know it's hopeless. They're not going to be. There's no seats. There haven't been seats for weeks. Rick. There's no way.
The Rockies and the Marlins. Boy, there's a way to really get the baseball season off to a great start.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule yet for TV or not. I'm sure it's going to be nationally televised. So everybody who's listening, watching today, you can watch this wherever you are in your home market, I'm sure.
Wow. That's disappointing.
Yeah. And it's Lone Depot Park. It's where the Marlins play.
What does that even mean?
Lone Depot Park.
What is Lone Depot? Is that some kind
It's where you go to get a loan. What do you mean, Rick?
Oh, okay.
It's where you go to get a loan. Okay.
Must be a local company.
I don't think so. You've never heard of Lone Depot?
No.
Wayne will look it up and give you some information.
Wayne, you ever heard of Lone Depot? Send me some info.
Oh my gosh. My daughter's saying it's called Home Depot. That's how she doesn't know.
See what I'm thinking. No, she's right. She and I are thinking exactly alike. I was thinking Home Depot.
That is a store. No, this is Lone Depot.
Okay? Are you doing anything with the kids for spring break? You just gonna let them hang around?
We went to the county fair yesterday, which was a lot of fun. I can't begin to tell you. We did a lot.
I don't believe you. You didn't sound very convincing there.
We did rides. We had fun fair food. I mean, I didn't go too crazy. I just had like a hot dog and ice cream, but they always have weird dishes at the fair.
They do.
And thankfully it wasn't too hot. Like it was Miami hot, but not Miami hot. It was, it was manageable. It wasn't like you're walking to your car and you feel like you're just going to pass out before you make it there. So that was nice. Milder for us. Okay. So yeah, we probably we'll do some work around the house, which is going to be so fun. The kids are looking forward to that, and we'll go to the movies or something. We're not going too crazy for spring break this year.
Thursday was the most watched Thursday in NCAA television history.
Wow, that's amazing.
How about that? And they want to change the tournament.
Yeah, I wish they would leave it the same, but things are good, and so. But there are always people complaining, though, Rick. Like we don't want to change it, but there are always people saying, "Well, there's so many good teams and they don't make it." Or like if you're not one of the top 68,
yeah, we don't want to watch you. We don't want to watch you continue to play basketball.
Invite. Take your invite to NIT or what is the other one? There's
CBI, which got canceled.
Oh, they canceled, but there's even another one I heard
about.
There's
one in Vegas now. There's one in Vegas with 8 teams.
One, go out there and have fun.
Yeah.
And start building for next year. In a serious note, really start building for next year. But it's perfect the way it is. Don't change. Don't change it. Is it a done deal, or they just still propose? It's
no, it's going to change. It's not been announced, but it's going to go up to at least. The first 4 will at least have 4 teams added each day. So you're going to have basketball from like noon till night on Tuesday and Wednesday, as opposed to just the 2 games in the evening.
And this is just what's the
76. 76 is the
grab,
number.
right? Just more money.
It's a money grab.
More money. But we have seen teams though come out of this when they did the first 4. We've seen teams come out and do well, and we still have Texas. Texas was in the first 4. Remember, Texas beat NC State, right?
Yeah, but they're not a Cinderella, though. They're
not truly a Cinderella.
They're the richest athletic department in the country. So,
but they were in the first 4, right?
They were
in the first 4.
They were,
and they came out, and they're still in it. They're in the Sweet 16.
They are.
The only double-digit seed, right, still left on the.
Yeah, but they don't count. They were stuck in the first 4, but they weren't a first 4 team.
But I mean, they were. So
they were.
I know what you mean. They weren't. They were, but they weren't. They were, but they aren't. I know what you're trying to say. But yeah, they're still there. And again, everyone. I know a lot of basketball fans here. We have to all, pulling for Carolina women to beat UConn, shake things up. Right?
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen. But
But
UConn just won their second round game by 60.
Who are they playing now?
Women's basketball.
I know, but who were they playing? Can you check real quick? Because I saw they had a crazy score.
Let me look. Syracuse.
Okay.
Same league as yours. They actually won by 53. Ended up winning by 53. The first score I saw was like a 6.
Can you see what was Syracuse's seed though?
They were a 9 seed.
See, Carolina's a 4 seed.
See,
a lot better team, right?
See,
see.
South Carolina won their game by 40. Hey, Kenny Brooks is still alive for all you Tech fans. They're in the Sweet 16. They beat West Virginia.
Well, again, everybody. But one thing that is nice, though, I don't know how many are left.
Wow. Yeah.
But the women were definitely doing better tournament than the men on the ACC side. So
UCLA won by 20. I'm going through the number 1 seeds. Texas, number 1 seed. The team that beat Tech lost to Texas by 42. Oregon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Imagine what they'd have done to Tech. So yeah, the number 1s are just going to cruise into the Final Four on the women's side.
Okay, so if on the women's side, if the Carolina women do have an enormous
I'll give you all your flowers. If
yes,
that happens.
You have to.
I will.
And we all have to cheer for them, right? So we can shake things up on the women's side. But yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people say that UConn's scared. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm sure Gino just can't even get any sleep thinking about that.
No, he has not slept 1 minute. He's trying
daunting Carolina program.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he says this is his best team of all time. So in other words, go ahead. Yeah, Gino said this is the best team he's ever had. So go ahead and crown them.
No. I see people are saying I can't quite make out what the last person saying something about they think Carolina's going to beat them. I think that's what I'm reading, right?
Yeah. Hey, it's great. You've had a great season.
Yeah, and if they do though, I think you should have me on like early.
Oh, if that happens, we'll get you. We'll have an immediate. We'll have a Monday special with Marva.
Yes.
If you win, you can play Friday at 5. Ooh, that's going to be ugly. Okay. You want to hear the point spread? Or
yeah. You can tell me.
29.
Carolina advantage?
No.
Okay.
No.
But I don't look at all that. That's for the gamblers. I don't look at that stuff, Rick.
29 in a Sweet 16 game. Wow.
But I will guarantee it's not going to be 29.
No, you're right. It'll probably be closer to 40. So it's not even Carolina. It's just how good UConn is. They're just they're not even beating teams. It's just they're just taking their will away when they walk out and see the uniform. It's over.
But the Tar Heels will not be afraid.
No, they'll play hard, but
we'll play hard.
But it won't matter. It will not matter. But hey, enjoy the Sweet 16. Right? It's really the only thing you got going right now, Carolina sports wise. So I get
baseball. Baseball's heating up. It's just getting started, but it's kind of.
Well, how are they doing? I don't even know.
I don't know the record offhand, but that they've been doing well because I don't pay as much attention this early in the season. Okay?
I like the way she brings up baseball. Oh, I don't know the record, but
I've been getting I get alerts, and so I get scores. I get alerts on my phone.
Oh, you get alert for baseball,
and they seem I do. You don't?
I'm looking now. Here we go.
Look it up. I think the season's just getting started though, so only played a few games.
All right, they are second. Well, they're tied for second in the ACC.
See, they're doing great.
Tied for second.
I mean, I'll give them my attention once, basketball is fully over, then I'll be paying attention to them. But yeah, we still got a lot of basketball left to play on the women's side. And there's so many people. I'm hearing a lot of people saying upset. Yeah. I'm just hearing that a lot, Rick. I don't know what you're getting or,
Well, I'm looking at 29-point underdogs, and I'm thinking, well, I know what's going to happen on next Friday at 5. I think I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of talk about possible upset, shocking the world.
Yeah. Well, you and your wonderful children, by the way, is she still around? Tell her and her brother the 2 most beautiful children that's ever been created by humanity.
Oh, well, they're here. Why did you have to say that? So they heard that. Oh, my goodness.
It's only facts. I mean, we've watched them grow up through your posts.
They are great kids.
They really are. And tell Garvey to keep fighting the good fight. Do not wear dress clothes ever, Garvey. Ignore your parents. Stay strong. T-shirts and shorts. Come on, you're in Florida.
He does wear polo shirts, Rick. He will do a polo shirt. He will begrudgingly put on a polo. He doesn't
begrudgingly.
Yes.
As long as he has that anti-vibe, I'm all for it. That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Well, y'all have a great week.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
And go Marlins.
Ready to shock the world. Yes, go Marlins. Everybody catch that first series against the Rockies. It's going to be great.
Bye. Bye, Marva kids. Bye.
Say bye, guys. You're here. Oh, great. They're throwing balloons here. See
hey, balloon fights. Hey, I love it. I love it. And we love you, Marva. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Love you guys
Bye.
too. Bye-bye.
Be good. That's great. Marva's kids. We do. We love Marva's positive attitude. Marva's the best. Marva's the best. Marva's a special, special human being. She is. Hit us up. We're going to have Brian Seigla. Oh, I got to get Brian on here. Brian's probably going, where's my invite? Going to yell at me. That's what he's going to do. Mike Burnop as well as we roll along here on a Tuesday. By the way, last week we had our most watched week ever here on the program. In 5 shows, we had 21,000 views. How about that? Thank you. Now, if we could just get those folks to parlay into subscriptions, that would be awesome. That was awesome. But yeah, the Heels will not beat UConn. Matter of fact, nobody's going to beat UConn. Nobody. They're a machine, man. He's got, I know for a while South Carolina became that program for a couple of years, but man, oh man, Gino has got it back. Woo. Killers. New face cream's paying off for you. It is. It is. But yeah, it was great. Our most watched 5 shows ever last week. That's incredible to me. 21,000 views. That's wild. So thank you to everyone. Even those of you outside of our area. Mike Burnop coming up. I know we're at 140 something. It's hard to believe, man. It's hard to believe. Who would have thought that? I almost didn't do this, and here we are. There he is, by the way. Speaking of successful everything, it is Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Rick? How are you doing this morning?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. It's always great to have you. First and foremost, are you a believer in Bigfoot?
You know what? I think there is a humanoid thing out there that we don't know whether it exists or not. I don't know whether it looks like, a Sasquatch that's, rumbling about in the forest. But I think there's still some things we don't know.
I'm a huge Bigfoot enthusiast, and apparently there's this documentary coming out called Capturing Bigfoot, April 15th. It doesn't disprove Bigfoot, but it's disproving the famous Patterson footage, apparently.
Okay.
So we've been talking about that all morning, but that's okay. I just want to get your take on that. By the way, good news is we had somebody posting Tech's got white stripes down their helmet. That's only for practice.
Yeah, it's to pick up on the tape.
Thank the Lord.
They can separate folks better on the tape when you can see the stripes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So people were concerned. I saw it and I immediately didn't like it. And I thought, oh, no, that's not a good fashion choice. But that's just that's going to be taken off when the season starts. So there we go. Well, how'd it go on the podcast? What happened last week between you guys?
So we ended up having to punt last week. We're going live with David this week. Things were a little hectic with tournament last week. We couldn't quite make schedules sync up, but we got David Cunningham coming on with us Wednesday night this week. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast. We're going to talk everything wrap up to the basketball season. We're going to talk spring practice up to this point, kind of what he's hearing, what he's seeing. Some of the things that have come out of the press availability, some of the things that came out of that open practice over the weekend. So really excited about that. David's been great friend to us and always willing to jump on with us and talk a little Hokie sports.
Well, if you ever need somebody to talk about Bigfoot, let me know. Give me a call. I'll be there.
I will. Yeah. Hey, we can have a whole episode. You know what? It's been a slower off season this year. We could just have saying 1 hour long Bigfoot conversation.
I'm just saying, I'd be glad to be part of it.
We can put the footage up there. We can kind of walk through the different angles there and see what we can do.
Yeah. Well, let's get into, if you would, what, we don't get a lot of info now because everything we found out like from Todd Grantham yesterday, what's going on at UAB. And I'm sure everybody across the country is kind of similar, but now you start to enter pad time here coming up pretty soon. And that's when we're going to see the separation that everybody's excited about, right? When the pads come on, man, then it becomes real, even though things will be toned down a little bit, but still that's going to mean a lot more, isn't it?
Yeah, when the pads come on, it becomes a little bit of a different animal because there's a lot of people that look really good running, look really good in the weight room, all these things. But when the pads come on, that's when things start to separate. You kind of get the cream rising to the top, as it were. I'm really excited to see some of the feedback that's coming from that. Especially with the new guys that are on campus, whether it's the true freshmen that enrolled early or whether it's the guys coming in the portal. I think that's going to tell us a good amount. I think, when we look at the guys that are missing spring, I think, when you look at Howland, that's probably the biggest one in terms of not really getting a look. And because that's somebody I think everybody had kind of penciled into a starting role. So not having tape on him, getting to see how he's looking, how he's working with the other group of the offensive linemen, that's a little bit of a blow. But I'm excited to see some of these new guys and what they can do and how they can raise the level of talent on this roster.
Yeah, exactly. And the other side of it, this time of year, if you do have guys out, it lets you see some guys that maybe you weren't planning on getting a longer look at, and maybe they end up going, you know what? We've got a lot more depth at so-and-so position that maybe we didn't think we had, right? So that's kind of the one positive side of it anyway. So,
yeah, and I think there's going to be a couple of rooms to watch. I think safety is going to be an interesting room to watch. You got a couple folks moving back there that were at other positions last year to kind of thicken up that room a little bit. You didn't really go out and get anyone in the portal, so it sounds like you were at least somewhat comfortable with who was on the roster at that position, whether that had anything to do with the delay in filling out the secondary coaching positions or not. I think that's a room to watch. I think when you look at offensive line, is still going to be a big thing to watch, I think, during the spring. You can't really glean a lot from spring practice and spring games, but I think if you watch the trenches, you can kind of get an idea of where you are from that perspective, especially now that you've got some tackle depth, even with Howland out. You brought in a bunch of tackles that enrolled early, so you've got bodies out there now that you probably didn't have last year, where you really only had about 2 or 3 tackles that you felt comfortable with, and that showed at the spring game last year. I mean, the offensive line was a clown show. watching that spring game last year, especially on the one side there that struggled immensely throughout that game. So I'm interested to watch the trenches because I feel like that's where you can see a whole lot of action, because that's something that isn't really as game plan or script dependent in terms of gauging as some of the other positions are, like wide receiver or quarterback.
Well, I don't know. There's an excitement around all this, and people keep asking where I think Tech's going to shake out, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what everybody else is doing. Let's just let it shake out. Let's get to August and let's see how things are progressing. But we'll start to get a little better feel the more that we see, and the more now in scrimmages. I think this first scrimmage is this weekend. Is that correct? Is that Saturday?
That's first correct, actual
scrimmage? Yeah. So you start to learn a little bit, and Mike Burnop's there at every scrimmage, so we kind of get a little insight there. But that'll be interesting to me to see how things are lined up, and how they line them up now doesn't necessarily mean they're going to look the same. I think people kind of fall in love with how things look in the spring, and with injuries like you've been talking about, especially at running back. You just don't know how it's going to look in August, because guys can change that depth chart during the summer with how hard they work too.
Yeah, and I'm not super concerned about the running back depth. I think if anything, this kind of gives some of the guys that were in that 3 to 5 range a little bit of a better action, a little bit of a better look, get them kind of acclimated with running with the 1s and 2s. So I think that's probably a good thing. I think that's one of the positions I think we're most solid with, and I think we're not really, other than some depth and short yardage folks working in there, I think most of the guys that are going to be key players were on this roster last year. Obviously missing some reps in this new offense, may play a factor there, but I think those guys, especially when you look at Overton that came in and picked things up right away last year, even coming off an injury. I don't think that guys like that are going to have a problem picking up what the nuances of this new offense are, even without those reps. So it's good to see some of these other guys that are a little bit further down the depth chart get some run and hopefully kind of solidify that 3 or 4 man rotation that you'll have at running back.
Yeah, exactly. Things like that are very important this time of year. And I think it also gets understated. I talked with Todd about it a little bit. Coaching staff, brand new coaching staffs, right? I mean, you got to get acclimated with all these new players that's been brought in and get used to being and coaching around one another. That's why I think the first spring with a new staff is people don't think about that a lot because I know they're professionals and they may have done this and they may have worked together. Certain guys work together, but seeing everybody come together at a new place is kind of goes under the radar, but I think that is extremely important too.
Yeah. And I think the big thing is, the thing that Franklin has to juggle a little bit is you've got guys that are familiar with his culture coming from Penn State. They've got to mesh with the veterans on this roster, and spring is where you do a whole lot of that. I know, winter workouts as well. I think there's been some of that, but this is where I think the Penn State guys can be leveraged a little bit more just because they are familiar with the system. They're familiar with the nuances. And I think they can work, the number of folks that were brought over from Penn State can kind of help ease some of that normal rough patches that you would get from a new regime coming in.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, they've known him for 2 years now, counting this year, right? They may not have played for him yet, but they know him and they've known how he is and what the expectations are. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then all the portal guys coming in that have either, been under the system for at least a couple of years at this point as well. So they know terminology, they know how he operates, they know how practice operates. I think that's a big thing in spring is that, we've heard reports that, transitions between periods are a lot better. Everything's a little bit more like a well-oiled machine this spring and during practice than we heard about during Pry's era there. So I'm excited about that part of it. It sounds like the accountability is there, and the folks that are coming over have done a good job of kind of setting the expectations of what a Coach Franklin team is going to look like.
Yeah, and we've heard disaster stories about Pry's practices. It's just it's amazing how he was there all those years under Franklin, yet he allowed practice to get away from him like he did. That's a little strange to me.
I think it's one of those that the fine lines that you walk as being a player's coach, and Franklin seems to really walk that line well. Whereas I think Pry a lot of times went a little bit too far in the other direction from a player's coach perspective of giving them too much leash to the point where things weren't going the way you wanted to. There wasn't that accountability side of, it's like you give them a little bit of leash, but you never pulled it back when it needed to be pulled back. And I think that was probably the problem there. And seems like Franklin historically has done a pretty good job of being a very player-friendly coach, but still having that degree of accountability and being able to pull the reins back when it's necessary.
Well, it's going to be an interesting view. This first year is going to, I think, have so much more intrigue, and you're trying to transition to something that's going to bring back the most important program on campus. I mean, let's just say it the way it is. I mean, so the scrutiny is going to be there each and every day, and Franklin at least has that going for him where he's been there. He's been at Penn State. My God, he's been at a blue blood. Scrutiny there is going to be 10 times more than it ever is at a place like Virginia Tech. So he'll be able to handle all that, from the CEO perspective. That's another good aspect of all this.
Yeah, and he came into a program that was still kind of in a rebuild after the Paterno debacle there. So, he has experience of taking a program that isn't quite where you want it to be and getting it back into the national spotlight. So having that experience, I think, is also going to be key, because while Virginia Tech isn't dealing with the Sandusky issue, we've certainly been in the doldrums from a win and loss perspective for a while now. So,
yeah, Bill O'Brien's washing out at BC, but what he did going there to Penn State during that time, setting it up for Franklin, that's one of the most underrated coaching jobs. I think we never talk about it, but that program was almost completely just gone. They almost got rid of it, and then he kept them prominent. That was an incredible little bit of coaching. O'Brien got him back in the NFL. So
yeah, that was a steady hand when they needed a steady hand.
It was. All right, let people know again, man. You got David Cunningham coming on tomorrow, right?
David Cunningham coming on tomorrow night at 9. Catch us live. We're hoping that we can get everything straight with Twitter there on the live stream. But if you can't, catch us over at YouTube at Boundary Corner VT, and you can catch all of the episodes at boundarycornervt.com.
And as always, lots of drinking during the parade. It'll be great.
There will be sippage. We will be tilting.
So I'm not too far off. That's great.
That's right. That's right.
As God intended. No
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, brother. Have a great cast. We'll remind people about it tomorrow as well. It'll be fun.
Awesome, Rick. I really appreciate it. You have a good one now.
Thanks, brother. You too, man. All right, take care. There you go. That's Brian Seigla from the Boundary Corner podcast. They do a great job. He's great. Brian's great. And he's a Bigfoot guy. So there you go. I knew we had a kindred soul. It's amazing the amount of text I'm getting on the professional door text line about the Bigfoot documentary. I know. Professional Door Incorporated, sponsor of our text line. Travis Williams, thanks to him. Family owned and operated for 38 years. Travis is the absolute best. Sundown Electric, our newest sponsor. Thank you so much to Jeff Smith, his brother. Rave Reviews, attention to detail. They're located down in Elliston. They're always in Roanoke. You see their trucks all the time. Reach out to Sundown Electric if you have any questions, and we'll get more information and let you know about all the great things that they're doing. ReadySetFun.com. Bob Christ, CRST11 at Gmail. Reach out to Bob and just ask him about what this program does, and he'll explain it to you in terms that make sense, and you'll be very glad you did. National Bank, member FDIC, thanks to Lara Ramsey, my exclusive banking partner for 35 years, the show's exclusive banking partner. The attorney, Ryan Pry. Fan question of the week. Who is your favorite now in the NCAA tournament? You want to go that route? Why don't we go that route? Looking at the Sweet 16, if you had to look at it now, who's your new Final Four? If is your Final Four still alive? Let me know. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Speaking of the best, Charles Lee, do not hesitate. You got something going on with your unit, doesn't sound right, been sitting out in the cold, the wind, whatever. He'll fix it at a great price. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thank you so much to all those folks for being the presenting sponsor of this program. And thanks to everybody who went out and supported the racetrack. Had a great opening weekend. Stacey Compton had a great plan in place, and apparently it unfolded impeccably. McClellan Chiropractic, thanks to Mark Hunley. The filming of Rick going over and getting broken in half is going to happen here soon. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, thanks to Jason Green, 540-200-8294. They're very busy because it's warm. Tried to tell you, better get them over there during the winter. They'll take care of your property in a heartbeat, however you want it fenced off. And thanks to the NRV Super Bowl, 540-382-5525. Boogie Bowling, they've got bright lights. They've got just an unbelievable new aesthetic over there if you haven't been. Check them out and enjoy the Sweet 16 there. And thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. Give James a call at 540-381-8011. They are the best. Wayne likes St. John's to beat Duke. I could see that absolutely happening. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. So I'm having people like Wayne that came in on the backside of my conversation about okay, so there's a new documentary. You know what? I really appreciate the interest in the topic. Mike Burnop, by the way, joins us coming up. It's called Capturing Bigfoot. It comes out for public consumption on April 15th. I just looked it up. They had pre-screenings in Texas. There were 2 different showings in Austin at a highbrow private screening theater down there. Certain people were invited that contribute to the Bigfoot community, if you will. And there's one called Harry Man something. I can't remember what his name is. I've heard of him. He is now emphatically saying that without any kind of hesitation that this documentary disproves and debunks the Patterson footage. You know, the famous footage. There's only one. When you say the Patterson footage, everybody knows what you're talking about because apparently it's the most watched few seconds of video ever, according to people. Doesn't mean that Bigfoot's not out there. Just this has been the thing we go back to. Dr. Jeff Meldrum is apparently in the video, in the documentary, and he has shown his reaction, the reaction of him seeing it, and he has to admit that it looks like this thing was rehearsed and then run through. So we'll see. Then they try to claim at the end Bob Gimlin, who's like 95. I just looked that up. He's been suffering some severe dementia. They go up to him. They kind of ambush him, and he says, "Hey, I'm ready to come clean." His family like, "What are you bothering this old guy for? Leave him alone." So I don't know. So that's what we're talking about. You can go to YouTube when we're done. If you're sitting around and you want something in the background, just type in "capturing Bigfoot," and you'll see all these people already reacting to it. They have one that Wayne sent me that I watched yesterday with the actual filmmaker. It says it's the 16 millimeter reel that changed everything. So we'll see. Prometheus likes St. John's in the championship. Arkansas. Tell you what, man, High Point almost got him. High Point almost got him. High Point just keeps it rolling along, man. I've already heard some things about their roster next year. Incredible. You have programs that win. And they put a lot of money into their program. And here they were. They were kind of the darlings. They're going to put more money in the program. I've already heard that they've obtained 2 players that were highly sought after by Power Fours already. So High Point's not going anywhere. Is that it, Wayne? Did they announce that? Is that where it's going to be? Amazon Prime? Is that official? I know it was going to be one of those types of distributors. I think the reaction they're getting, and this has been a promotional tour, right? That's why they decided to have the selective screenings. Because that gentleman that you sent me that video, he's reputable. I mean, he's won awards. It's going to be Netflix or Amazon or somebody like that, right? One of the two. Yeah, it was fun. It was, man. I'm with you, Prometheus. Martin kid went for a career high. Calipari added to it. He just kind of kept us calm throughout that game. I like the fact he complimented the Big South and High Point the way he did in the post game. That was cool. But there was a lot of rumors, and it makes sense now that Flynn Clayman was going to be 1 and out down at High Point, but I've heard he's already gotten a raise. And like I said, they've already obtained 2 players that one of the quotes I heard from a coach who told me about one of the kids was he'll be the most highly acclaimed player to come into the Big South in its history. We'll see. We'll see. Bigfoot is real like Santa Claus. Don't tell me he ain't real, mama. Well, this documentary won't disprove Bigfoot at all, but it is going to attack what has been held up as the quintessential debated footage. And that's where the disappointment lies for me. You've seen the Patty footage since you were, old enough to understand what it was. Even if you weren't looking for it, it showed up. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said High Point would have been right there in the middle of the SEC fight. He's right. I think he's right. And if what I'm hearing about the roster next year is true, my Lord, they just got a machine rolling. But see, money's no object to them. They have a very wealthy president who invests his own. He's a donor. And they're a private school. And they just made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. They're trying to get into a new league. They're going to keep on investing. The only thing that's going to hold High Point back, and this is where people say, well, they're going to leave. Well, there's two things they don't have. They don't have football, and they don't have softball, which I don't understand why High Point doesn't have softball. And I mentioned softball because it is the fastest growing women's sport in the country. I think I saw there's more young girls playing softball at lower levels than any other sport, even more than basketball. So they're going to have to correct that part. I'm not saying they have to implement a football program, but a place like High Point could announce they're starting softball in 2027, and it probably won't be one of the top 3 or 4 Big South programs in a couple of years, just like that, maybe even sooner. So they don't really necessarily have anything that would make the Atlantic 10 or the Southern Conference go, ooh, we have to have you. These last 2 tournament appearances are the only 2 tournament appearances they've ever had. They made it last year, won their first Big South title. They back-to-back champs, right? So they've got it rolling. So they're figuring, hey, we're going to be there again. They very well might be. They'll be heavily favored already. But at a private school, it's different than if it's a public school. So no, Prometheus, the money does not get taken away at all. If it's a private school, then what they will do, they will go out and find enough funds because there's enough people supporting it to get behind it. And they can implement it that way. Plus, Nito, their president's got enough money to cover any operating costs. But they're going to have to fix that, I think. They have really good programs, but they need one of those 2, and it's not going to be football, in my opinion. Yeah, I've heard good things about Hail Mary. I'm very skeptical about anything coming out of Hollywood. But some people that I trust have reviewed it, and they said it was good. Now, I doubt I will go see it. The thing about the movie theater is Hollywood didn't kill movies. $20 popcorn and $10 sodas killed movies. You can't go get anything from the lobby without it setting you back pretty considerably. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. But I don't see myself spending time going to the theater to go see it. I don't see that happening. You sneak in snacks. That's good. That's smart. Very smart. Very smart. But yeah, the Sweet 16, the NCAA tournament last Thursday, the most watched Thursday ever, even though the CBS studio coverage is the worst ever. But people just eat it up, and that's what I'm saying. The tournament, the way it's set up, is very attractive to people, and they're gonna change it next year, and we'll see how that looks. If it's If it's 76 teams and they just add 2 games to the first Tuesday and Wednesday, I think most people could live with that. It will water down the bubble watch, and it'll get rid of all of that. But the tournament itself, we could probably adjust to, because all it's doing is adding 4 basketball games. But if it goes up to 80 and beyond, then this whole thing's over. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know about the Big South collapsing, Prometheus, but it would be a big blow. Of course, if they announced it now, they'd have another year in the league. The league's going to have to figure out what it's going to do. I know they're winning a lot of things right now because of their commitment. They have a lot of advantages that most of the other schools in the Big South do not. But there needs to be leadership in place down in the Big South to anticipate growth. I mean, the Big South has to sell itself on being just a basketball league. There have been programs that have left that I know wish were back, Campbell being one. Campbell was building their football program, and they thought, oh, we're going to outgrow the Big South. Our football program is going to take off. Well, that hasn't happened. It's fallen back considerably. As a matter of fact, it's gotten pretty bad, yet the expenses of maintaining that football program have been a lot more than they were budgeted for. I know this because I know people at Campbell, and they tell me this. The travel of their new league, the expenses outweighed the projections by a lot. So grass is not always greener. Campbell had it really good in the Big South. But they sold out for football, and they have regretted that decision almost since day one. But High Point would not be leaving because of football. But the two leagues they want to get into, here's their problem, are already very strong basketball leagues. The Southern Conference and the Atlantic 10 have been the two that have been the most rumored that would take High Point. When I was down there this year for our game, there are people around the program that were telling me that their president has been in negotiations with the Atlantic 10. So I don't know. We'll see. A lot of times these announcements come out of the blue. But I know the Big South, you know, we've had Mark Simpson on the show, and the associate commissioner, he's always very concerned about that happening. Anytime you lose members, it's tough. You know, we had Liberty in our league, Coastal Carolina. I mentioned Campbell. I wish North Carolina A&T would have stayed. A&T came in our league, and they were a good member for too short of a time. They left to go back, you know, to the MEAC, and Hampton was in our league. That was a long trip. Didn't mind seeing Hampton not there, but A&T was a great addition. I wish they would have stayed. VMI was in our league. Yeah, they do. They have to pay on both ends. They have to pay when they leave, and they have to pay when they join. High Point can afford to do that. But, yeah, you can't just leave. Yeah. But you're going to be looking at up-and-coming basketball schools that they would have to try to join. You know, it's interesting. Queens seemed like a slam dunk. Queens was just in the NCAA tournament. They've only been a D1 for 4 years. Well, Elon bought Queens. Elon, the university. So they're going to take over operations of Queens. They're going to do that, but Queens is still going to have its identity and its athletic identity. So in other words, they're not going to become, all those athletes aren't going to become Elon athletes, but it's going to be strange. I think we're going to start seeing more of that. But yeah, that happened. But Queens just made the tournament. Queens seemed like a no-brainer to bring into the Big South. They're right there in Charlotte. They claim that our former commissioner never offered them an invitation to the league. I talked to a couple of people that cover Queens, and they confirmed that. They're not happy where they are because of costs, which is why Elon came in with the life preserver. So they seem like they would be a natural fit. Elon, of course, is in the SoCon. They're not going anywhere. So if you could somehow get Queens and Campbell back in, it would make a lot of sense. I don't know which route you go. I don't know what D2s are ready to try to switch over to D1. I don't know what, you know, you don't hear about these things until they happen. But the league has fumbled a whole lot of things since Kyle Calander left. There's no doubt. It's not as strong, and the decisions there, yes, just like the whole not letting anyone vote for Big South All Conference except for coaches. and you had 3 coaches on the men's side, each get 3 votes, yet only 2 were named co-coaches. What happened to the third guy? Why didn't the head coach at Presbyterian? Why wasn't it just tri-coaches of the year? If they all had the same votes, why did you leave one out? I don't understand. And that was a decision. That was an answer. I asked a lot of questions down there because it just flat out pissed me off that after 25 years of voting for all conference, and all of a sudden that was taken away from all media members without any explanation, and nobody could answer the question. Apparently, it was just something the commissioner wanted to do, and nobody got a heads up until they realized, hey, we didn't get the all conference ballot this year. A little strange. Doesn't work when only the coaches pick. So, Prometheus, every school was given the option of opting into the rev share. We opted in. Certain schools did not. I think there are 4 schools in the Big South that did not opt in. So the ones who did not opt in are not part of the rev share. Now, we're not talking about getting payouts for things, but we're talking about the overall rev share that they have for every level. Radford is responsible for it because we opted in. I talked to Janet Cohn, the AD down at Asheville, and we played down there, and she said that one of the best decisions they've ever made is not opting in. Because they had open communication with every coach and every program during that whole transition, and said, look, men's basketball is the thing here. You need to go out and you're going to have to be responsible for doing the best you can to get athletes. Men's basketball has an outlet to get players. Mike Morrell has a great relationship with a lot of very influential boosters down in the Asheville area. But they don't regret not opting in at all, which is interesting. So I don't know. But yes, it is there. It is there. Mike Burnop's going to join us here coming up. Okay, I'm going to let the mighty Creed out, and I'll be right back. He's been in and out 3 times today. So let me do this, and I'll be right back. Everybody. All right. Had to rub on him a little bit. I hadn't seen him. You got to pet him a little bit. Yeah, they do. And the conference everybody in the conference gets a piece of that too. Yeah. I don't know what the numbers are, but if they would have gone to the Sweet 16, then everything kind of doubles. So that would have been even better. For everybody in the league. Absolutely. But Mike Burnop was over there this weekend, and we'll find out from him what he saw. And we get a scrimmage this weekend. So I know in the past, whenever we've covered Tech football through the spring and all these things, that the scrimmages are the thing. Spring game, not so much, but the scrimmages are the thing. So we'll find out from Mike what he anticipates and what he has seen so far from this squad. Brought to you, of course, by Louise Baker. Louise Baker, Long and Foster Realtors. But yeah, and thanks for all the questions about Bigfoot. I appreciate that. It means a lot. It means a whole lot. It's discouraging. That's a good word. And again, it's hard to explain. Like, have I ever looked at the footage of Patty and said to myself, "Oh, that's undoubtedly a Bigfoot"? All these skeptics are wrong. No, but it's the possibility that it was real. And if this is showing a run through with the exact same suit, but the one guy in Wayne, I'll try to give you the actual name of the dude here. So, Harry Man Road. Harry Man Road. And his video is called "It's a Hoax." It's that one right there. You can find it on YouTube. He supposedly has been a big proponent of the whole mythology, and he's now saying, without a doubt, this proves that it was all fake after all these years. And that's the disappointing part. I don't know why I didn't shut the shade while I was over there. I mean, the whole point was to take care of Boa and to shut the shade. See how it's coming through right here? I'll be right back. All right, there we go. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I know, Prometheus. I know. And I'm looking forward to just seeing. I just want to see the thing. I want to see it. And they've blown it up. They've used AI to clear up that film, and it looks even more real now than it ever has. But yet, I'm saying this, for something that happened 60 years ago, or almost 60 years ago, it has been the greatest. If it ends up being debunked, and I'm going to still say even though I know this is probably going to be true. I do need remote shades. I wouldn't know how to operate them though. It's the greatest hoax ever, if that's the case, if all this ends up being true. So we'll see. But yeah. So that's where we are on all that. But in any event, coming up, you're going to talk more about Tech Spring Ball because Mike Burnop's here with us right now. There he is. What's up, Michael? Good morning.
Good morning, Ricardo. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I don't know how we went from 75 this weekend to 30 this morning, but, you know.
Oh, my goodness. It's freezing. I like turn the heat off, and now I'm like frozen.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
That's life in the hood, man.
Life in the hood.
Springtime.
Springtime.
Oh my gosh, Sunday was beautiful. Saturday was nice. Gosh, yesterday was chilly. You get deceived, Rick, when you look at the weather thing and it says the high yesterday was going to be like 70, and then the low was going to be, low. Well, the 70 was like at midnight.
Yeah, right.
And then it just kept going down.
No.
And then it gets up to like 52. Like, come on.
What are we doing?
Tease, big tease.
Big tease. What's your thoughts on the tournament so far? I mean, we got one ACC team left. Everything looks like kind of last year. High Point was a great story, but now all of a sudden it's all about blue bloods being led. Even the Big East counts as a blue blood. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's been fun to watch. I mean, there have been some great basketball plays, individual players. That shot by Tanner at Vanderbilt, I don't know how that thing did not go in.
I know.
Man, oh man, what a story that would have been for Mark Byington, coming out of Salem, Virginia, and JMU, and now up to Vanderbilt. That was a great game. And, St. John's is tough. They're a really good team. So it's going to be some unbelievable matchups this weekend. and love it. Michigan looks great. The Michigan State game should be fun.
Yep.
It's going to be good. There's some good matchups. It's going to be a great weekend of basketball.
And now a lot of speculation around Hubert Davis.
I thought that was going to be announced yesterday.
That's what it feels like. It feels like it's done. It just hasn't been announced yet. From what I've been told from a couple of coaches, it's happening. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird the way they didn't announce it. I don't know. You watched them play, Mike. You've watched Hubert Davis's team since he's been there. What do you think? I mean, he does have that thing hanging over him where he's the first preseason number one never to not make the tournament. I don't think he ever got over that.
Yeah, probably not. And then, the last 2 years getting exited in the first round has not been good, especially with all the talent. And I understand he lost one of his great players, one of the lottery picks and all that sort of stuff, but you don't blow a 19-point lead in the second half. I mean, you just can't do that. And they just looked like they were totally out of sync and turning the ball over and taking early shots. And I don't know. That's kind of been the story. They've had talent every year, it seems like, but they just can't get over the hump and close games out. And that's kind of been a trademark, it seems like. And disappointing, the Carolina, man, they live off that basketball. And for having that, and he played there and he coached there to Roy. And, it's a tough situation because you don't want to, like kick your guy out the door, right? So I think that's why they're talking about, maybe he'll just resign and that kind of thing and set the next guy up. But who knows? Maybe they're waiting for a great coach to come in there, and that's why they're slowing up on the announcement. I don't know. Could be that. You just never know.
That's a good point. That's a great point. It could be somebody still in the tournament, and you just kind of want to give it time. That's a great point. It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. But we know that's they're one of the top 3 blue blood programs ever and historically. So, it's a job that everybody's going to look at as being attractive, right? So,
absolutely. And I wouldn't be shocked if somebody like Seth Greenberg didn't apply for that job. You think about the resources they have and the facility, the history, the tradition. That is an incredible job. And somebody can go in. Look what Ryan Odom did at UVA this year.
I know.
You get the right guy in there. They can turn it around quick, especially because they got the resources and they have the money. And so somebody put out I think on X the other day about the top six, the Sweet 16, the money they have for basketball. It's pretty incredible.
I know. I saw
the millions of dollars, whoa.
Yeah, I think those numbers were off. I think they're undersold from what I've heard.
I was thinking the same thing too.
Yeah,
but you can understand why the guy at South Florida goes to Providence, right?
100%.
No football there and all the money. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, the weather's terrible, but hey, you know what? At least you get all the money.
Yeah, then you can fly to warm.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to stay there during the off years. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh.
Well, and Carolina may have been too guilty over the years of staying within the family, as it were, right? The Roy Williams wanted that to be the case, and that's who they hired. So maybe now you look outside the box. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's going to affect the whole league. That's why that's an important hire.
I know. Yeah. And, they kept Jeff Capel up at Pitt, because of the buyout was so expensive for that. And, it's going to be interesting to watch, to say the least. Obviously, Boston College, and you got Syracuse looking at, is that a done deal with Jerry Mack?
I think so. Jerry Mack's going to be the guy. Yeah. They're going to announce it today, I think. Yeah.
They're staying in-house again. That's what they did with Red Autry. He was a former assistant there, player there. Yeah. Now, Jerry Mack was a great player, but he did a heck of a job where he was.
He did.
So, they had a heck of a team, heck of a year.
Yeah, they did. They played Siena played Duke off the feet, man. He did. He did.
Sure did.
He had them ready.
And you look at this day and time, guys that can shoot like High Point, man, they can change a game. You get a team out there that can shoot threes. It's a totally different game.
It does. And High Point's completely dedicated. I've heard they're going to put even more money into their program. Heard they got 2 player commitments that talent that the Big South's never seen before. They've turned it into, I guess, a lesser version of Gonzaga a little bit, what they've done down there. No football, just the same thing. Private school, all the money can go to what they want it to down there.
Yeah,
so
Gonzaga just can't get over the hump again.
I know. Yeah, they've kind of fallen out a little bit the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So.
And how about Florida getting beat? Man, oh, man. Last second heroics. That was crazy too.
and the fighting going on during the game, the arguing, that was great.
Yeah, you gotta love that. And I can't wait to see Izzo going up in the Connecticut and Hurley. I can't imagine those two dudes.
That'll be great. That'll be great.
Like how many T's will be in that game?
That's true. That's very, very true. At least one per side, right? I would think. I would think so anyway.
Fun to watch. Great weekend.
You've done this. You've been broadcasting 43 years, and you played way before we had official replay. Now, I'm all for getting things right, but the way we're going about this in every sport, and I wanted to ask you because it's highlighted so much during all these games, and now they've turned all these officials into rock stars where they're on camera announcing the call. It's taking too long, first and foremost, and it seems like they're going to the monitor over everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so much at stake, and I can understand why they want to make sure they get it right because – everything, there's so much money involved in all of it. So, yeah, it does take too long. I don't understand. Sometimes it looks clear cut, but they want to get the time right. And that's like last night I was watching that West Virginia basketball game against Kentucky. And the end of that thing, it must have took 5 minutes for a review to put 0.2 back on the clock.
Right.
I mean, like Lord have mercy. How long does it take to figure this thing out? And, you want to get it right, but it is. There's too many of them and it takes too long. And I don't know what the answer is, but hopefully they'll figure it out.
Yeah, this needs to be streamlined across the board. And I don't know. I'm like you. I want it to be right. And I know there's a lot at stake. But even during what game was it? The Virginia game where it looked like the ball went off the Tennessee guy's head. Yeah. I didn't think it touched hands. And then they said that it did.
Yeah, that was close.
And they left it the same after about 5 to 7 minutes. So yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And then obviously the coach that doesn't get the call, he's really mad.
Yeah, right.
After all that timing, and you're sitting there in the timeout, and basically his team's timeouts. Somebody came up, I heard the other day, with the suggestion, hey, when they have these replays, don't let the teams get free timeouts. Have an official stand with each team while the other one looks at the monitor.
I like that.
So. But then they all have to look at the monitor, so that could take even more time because they sit there and they concur. What do you think? What do you think? And what do you think? And then you got to get it right. So then that could take more time if you've got those two officials looking at the other two teams, just kind of holding them back.
That's true. That's true. Very, very true. Very, very true. That's true. Right? Just what Ryan just said he said in the Iowa game. They made the 3-pointer. Florida was out of timeouts. They stopped the clock to see if it was a 3 or a 2, and all of a sudden Florida's got a free timeout that they didn't have. Just what you're saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem right.
I know. Crazy.
Well, here we are heading into the first weekend. The first scrimmage is Saturday, correct? Over here in Blacksburg.
Yeah, they did a little contact last Saturday, and it was good. I was impressed with how they played and got after it. Coach Franklin is very animated. He's on top of it. Out there, and it was great energy. It's kind of fun. They had it was the Chalk Talk weekend, so they had all these high school coaches there. There must have been, I bet 100, 125, 150 high school coaches there all day Friday and Saturday watching this practice. And they had, I think, 60 or 80 recruits in, high-level recruits. I mean, there were people everywhere Saturday at practice. And part of it was at the indoor facility and the outdoor right there by the Beamer Lawson facility. And then the rest of it, the second half of practice, they went into Lane Stadium and did the rest and had some contact in there and did some, third down situations and whatnot. But, yeah, it looked good. I think there's a lot of talent, a lot of speed, Rick. The guys look big and great shape. It was kind of funny. A couple things after practice, Coach Franklin addressed the team and he said, one thing I don't get and I will not tolerate and I have no sympathy for is guys cramping up. He says, you have got to take care of your body and hydrate and do all that stuff because you can't be out here and after 2 or 3, 4 periods, you start cramping up. I've got zero tolerance for that. He kind of laid it straight on them. And so that was kind of interesting to see. And, I thought the quarterbacks looked good. Receivers ran some nice, crisp routes. There was one drill they were doing, Rick. I think it was an outside zone run. And I'm not going to mention any names just because they don't want you to really talk about individuals. But there's one particular running back that went out there, and the linebacker just mowed him over on the outside zone. And Coach Franklin was standing there, and he said, "You get back and do it again." Did it again. He did a little better that time. Third time, he made him go back again and get down. You're laying on the ground. You got to hop up and run, and you got your running back behind you, and you're trying to get two line. You got a defensive back and a linebacker. So the running back's blocking the linebacker. The defensive back is running up there to kind of have containment. They made him do it 3 times before he got it right. And that kid was worn out, man. He had to go over there and take a little bit of break. I think his head was spinning a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, they're getting after it for sure, but the energy's good. Love the competition. And so this week, they'll get a little more revved up, too. That was just practice number 3. Today's number 4, Thursday, and then they'll go Saturday again.
People asking in chat, Mike, what have you noticed so far? It's early. The biggest difference, what you're watching under Franklin as opposed to under Pry?
I think there's a little more speed to it. There seems like there's more going on the fields. There's never any downtime. It looks like for example, when they went into Lane Stadium, Rick, they had 3 different drills going on at the same time. They had 2 of them on each, about the 20-yard line on each end of the 20-yard line. And then one group was up at about the 30 or 40-yard line going through stuff. So there's not a lot of downtime. Guys are working and doing their thing, seems like all over the field. So it's either when you got the indoor facility and you're outside, everybody's doing something. There's not a lot of dead space or dead time around. So that's been kind of good. And I think the energy's there. The competition is maybe a little bit more. Seems like the talent is better. So I thought it was good all over. They had 3 kickers out there, Rick, that were kicking.
Wow.
You got the veteran who was there, but the 2 other guys are making. They kicked. I think both of them kicked from 53 from the middle hash, left hash, and I think only one missed. So he was happy with the kickers that we got 3 options of kickers. He said. I thought it was good. Everything went pretty smooth.
That's interesting. I like that because usually you don't have a lot of competition at kicker right during the spring. It's usually the one guy or maybe a guy you think's going to win. Maybe you bring on somebody else, a walk-on or something. It's good to hear those guys have to actually earn it. That's pretty cool.
Cool. It is good. And John Love, of course, has been here for a long time. His brother came in.
Yeah.
So that's been good. But, they do have some competition, and that, of course, makes everybody better, as you know. And, they're rotating a lot of linemen in, offense, defense. Both of them, but and the quarterbacks are working with different groups because they don't want to have an unfair advantage. But I thought all those quarterbacks showed some sparks of what they're about. The passing game I thought was pretty crisp. They had a couple drops, which was frustrating. But all in all, I thought it went pretty well.
Mike Burnop joining us on the program. Thanks to Louise Baker, Team Long and Foster. I haven't talked to Louise, and I haven't seen Louise in a while. I'm going to have to reach out to her today. I haven't talked to Louise in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen her either. And, of course, there's no games going on, so she's probably just grinding away at the springtime work.
That's true. Yeah, it's that time, man. You get spring fever. You want to go buy a house. So
that's
why not?
Right. Heck yeah.
Well, it's exciting times. And what do you expect to see this weekend, Mike? How are they going to lay out? Have you gotten any kind of preview of what the first scrimmage will look like? I know they don't want to go too hard, but you want to go, you want to show enough stuff. So,
well, they stressed how important it is not to touch the quarterback. That's number 1.
Sure.
You got 5 guys out there competing, but really it's probably a game of 3. And so you want to make sure those guys stay safe. And, they don't hit every period. They kind of mix it up a little bit when they go out there. They'll take a couple hard periods and then they'll go do some work on special teams, or they'll do a skeleton pass, or they'll work on some individual stuff, middle drill or whatever. They do some different stuff just to keep them fresh. They take breaks, for get water breaks and whatnot. And, I think the plan is to go a good couple hours. Practice the other day was probably about 2.5 hours. And, but, again, they had the high school coaches there and they were doing a lot of different stuff. But this one will probably be a little more revved up and a little more competition, I suspect.
Yeah, and we'll start to see guys like you talked about, I think, on Fridays. it's one thing to see guys out there in shorts throwing, but it's one thing now to put them in a situation where even though they can't be hit, you have to go out and kind of show your stuff a little bit more. So I like that evolution. That's going to start showing up now. So.
Oh, absolutely. And he mentioned that after practice. He said, I love the way some of you guys worked in the winter workouts in the weight room, but that's got to compute on the field. I mean, he sat there and told them that after practice. He said, some of you guys, you're just not getting after it like you should, like you did in the winter workouts and whatnot. And that's what separates the men from the boys, man. When you put those pads on, it's live and you're tackling and full speed. You can see the difference there. And that's certainly a key. And they don't tackle to the ground all the time. They didn't do much of that the other day. But this time, this Saturday, they may do more live drills instead of just thud tackles and whatnot. And we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
How, I guess going back to your own playing days and how you've watched every team, how long does it take guys to get acclimated again in the spring to make, that physical contact? I know it's about working out in the off season, but before they get used to having that, thud hit their body from time to time.
Well, it takes a couple practices. It's so much different now than it was then. We had 20 practices back in the day, and now they only have 15, and you have to be in shorts, 2 or 3 of them, at least 2 of them, I guess. So, they limit you the amount of contact you can have now, and they monitor everything. Pretty much all of them are wearing those padded helmets now, so they can just protect them from injuries and whatnot. So that was a good sign. Almost all those guys had those on. Of course, the linemen all got braces on, but it does take you a little bit of time to get revved up in physical condition because that contact, man, it'll get on you pretty quick, and it takes you a day or 2 to recover for sure.
Yeah, it really does. And I know they put the white stripe on during the spring here. What are they trying to accomplish there with the white stripe on the helmet?
I think part of that was to identify, the guys on the field easier, trying to see them and play them. And I forget, there was one other thing there I saw, but I kind of forget what that was about. But I think they want to just help identify them a little bit more and do that. So, but it protects them. That's the important thing.
Well, that makes sense too, doesn't it? Because they want to help identify them because they're new. They're new to all these players too, brand new coaching staff. So you got to make sure, okay, now I know what I'm looking at. So there we go.
Yep.
Well,
fun stuff.
It is. It's here, man. It's here, man. And so Saturday, what time is that going on Saturday?
They're going to start, I think, about 11:15, 11:30, something like that. And they'll go to about 2, I think, 1:50 is the plan, but obviously not open. And I think they'll probably have more recruits coming in this weekend. We'll see about that. But they did have a bunch there last weekend. It was pretty impressive looking at some of those dudes. They had some dudes on the sideline for sure.
Well, and high school coaches really appreciate that look-see, right? That inside look to see, okay, how much of that can they take to their own programs, right? From what they're seeing.
Absolutely. They all they were all sporting their high school paraphernalia, their apparel, and they all had their clipboards, and so a lot of them were taking notes. And you can imagine it was a massive group, and I'm sure they learned a lot, and I'm sure they appreciated the hospitality and the open house that they had. Kroger gave them steaks on Friday night. They had a big old steak dinner.
Wow.
That was the thing last year. Coach Pry had it, and BA, Bruce Arians, came up and spoke to the group last year. And this year, all the assistants are all kind of new. They had a nice little chat with that chalk talk. So I think it helped tremendously for all those high schools. And then it builds those relationships, Rick. When you got a player, man, and they're trying to get them to come to Virginia Tech, that certainly helps.
Well, Mike, it's going to be great. I can't always look so forward to the spring and your reports because you're there watching, and you've seen so much. You know exactly how it's supposed to look. So don't miss next week, folks, with Mike. We have the first scrimmage reaction. And, again, we want to thank Louise Baker. If she's out selling houses, I'm not going to be a bit surprised to find out she's already got like 4 or 5 sold.
Under contract.
Under contract. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Pending.
She can close the deal. Louise can.
She is a closer. We have baseball season starting, so it makes sense. She's the closer. She's the closer.
Absolutely. She's the best.
And so are you, Michael. Stay safe, man. And, hey, I'm glad you get to, you got your regular job now, and you get to kind of get to know more about this football team now with basketball over with. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's been fun. Been having a good time. Got a little yard work done the other day. Haven't seen any snakes yet, so that's
I was going to ask. Yeah. The springtime report at the Burnop house. Yeah.
I got these critters out in the side yard, man. They've dug a bunch of holes. I don't know what those things are, but my lawnmower is going to get them one of these days.
Yeah, you'll just catch it. Oh, got him.
And then I saw a poor little frog the other day. I was running a lawnmower, and that little frog was like having a, I guess it must have got next to where he was hiding out. And then I saw him hopping. I thought, what is that thing? And I got a little closer. It was this frog. And I just watched him. He just kept going. Every time I get the lawnmower close, I'd look for him, make sure I could see him hopping. Yeah. So he finally got over into the flower bed, and I knew he was safe.
He's like, what in the world was that? Yeah,
got a new critter in the hood, Freddie the frog.
Hey, you'll take frogs over. What was it? You came home and saw that black snake laying in
there. Oh, on my porch. Couldn't even get in my front door. Like, hello.
Hello.
What can I do for you?
We don't want that.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Good stuff, man. Have fun this weekend. I know you will at the game.
All right, Rick, you take care, and good luck to your baseball team. Hope they continue to play good and get after them.
JMU tonight.
Yeah, and how about the women? They did great. And
they did. The season ended last night, but they did. We had a big crowd at our game Friday. We got the host. We never had hosted anything like that. We had over 1,500 people. That was pretty good.
Good. Coach did a great job with him. He's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's good. All right, brother. Take care, man. Have a good weekend.
All right, Rick, you too. Take care.
Man. There you go. Mike Burnop. Good stuff. And, folks, I'm telling you, when Mike gives us these reports, I mean, you're going to hear it from other people. That's great. But when Mike tells you what he sees and the battles he likes, I'm telling you, man, it's an insight that you just don't get. People can look at it and they can tell you things. But Mike played it. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been watching it for 43 years as a broadcaster. I think you can trust those eyes, is what I'm saying. Good stuff from Mike. And thanks to Louise Baker. I just reached out to her. I haven't talked to Louise in too long. We recognized her at the last Radford basketball home game, and I haven't really seen her since. So I need to make sure she's okay. I mean, I usually contact her once or twice a week, and I haven't heard from her. So yeah, bothers me. Hope she's all right. I hope she's okay. Good stuff here today. Tomorrow will be the Wednesday edition. I know Matt Roan's going to join us tomorrow. He's scheduled tomorrow. I believe David Teal. We'll see if Teal's back. He might still be traveling with following Duke. We'll find out. I'll reach out to him tomorrow. Keon Brown will join us. We'll break down what we saw and look ahead to the Sweet 16. Damian Sordelet will join us. There's a media opportunity today, so we'll get his reaction from that. So that'll be good. All right. Yeah, it was Brandon. I'd kind of gotten a heads up from Coach McGuire before the Morehead State game, looking at the bracket. He felt good about the Morehead State matchup, and sure enough, Radford won going away. And he goes, that next one, though, going to be tough. And that's exactly what happened. I don't think Radford led at all last night, and Arkansas State is pretty good. Lost in their tournament, or they would have been an NCAA team, and deservedly so, is what he told me. And following that game, it looked like they got out on Radford early, and they just never let them up. So, great season, 23 wins. And, we had Coach on the show, and we had Joy and Ellie on, just great young ladies, great examples of what's still good in college athletics. There's not a lot good left, but they're great examples, those two young ladies. All right, Morris is coming up. That's right. March 25th through April 4th, and I got to look and see. I know I have baseball, but we got to get the meetup going. So we want to do that at the Super Bowl, the NRB Super Bowl. I think it just makes too much sense. And we're going to have to get Coach Elmo. Problem is with Coach Elmo, he's leaving the country next week. We want Coach Elmo to be there, right, Morris? And he wants to be there at the meetup. But he's out of the country leaving Tuesday. So he won't be here next week. And I think everybody wants to hang out with Coach Elmo. So let me I think he's going to jump back on Friday. So let me talk to him about that. I'm pretty sure he told us he's flying. Where are they going? Oh, wait a minute. He's not leaving the country, but he's going to New Mexico. So maybe I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. But he will make an effort to come be part of our get together. And we want him to be there. So, I'll keep you posted on all that, Morris. You old vagabond, you. But the Super Bowl is great. It'll be a great host, and we'll give them a heads up, and they'll have a lot of fun. And I want you to meet all those people and just enjoy. I will. Yeah, Marva won't be able to make it up from Florida, I doubt, with her kids. But Burnop would be great. Fly Todd in. Yeah, Jen could make it. We could try to. Yeah, she could be there. That'd be great. Hell, we would never leave. What's up, Parker Curry? Hello to you. Please like, subscribe, and share the channel wherever you might go. And thanks again for all the views. It's awesome. We just got to get the subscriptions up to 1,000, but the views are off the chart. And when I got those numbers, I was like, wow, really? Wow. That's great. Need more sponsors to fly guests in. Get Roanoke Airport. Yeah, that'd be great. We'd love the airport to be a sponsor. Then we could just pick out planes and pilots. Hey, this is Rick at BDST. Hey, Mike. Mike, can you go get so-and-so from here? Yeah, let's go. We got you covered. Yeah, we got your fuel costs and everything. Just go. That'd be a cool gig, wouldn't it? Be a pilot. Kind of a pilot chauffeur. Just kind of sitting around the hangar. Hello. Yeah, we'll go get them. No problem at all. I'll be back here in a few hours. We'll see you. Be great. Remember the show Wings? It was an NBC show, Wings. It's about pilots like that. Morris says, I mean, this is important. Adjust your schedules. Don't make me go nuclear and call the phone. Yeah. Well, for me, let's tell you right now. Let's see here. Let me look it up real quick before we head out. I like the way we're programming things here. This is what we do. I need to look up schedules. And if I have stuff to do the next day, you can't go and have, the kind of good time you want to have. I won't go into details, but yeah, see, it's Easter weekend. I got baseball Thursday night. I got baseball Friday. I got baseball Saturday. So the second, third, and the fourth, I'm out. Because you play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Because Easter Sunday, the league does not play games. So, Morris, we may have to reschedule. Knowing Coach Elmo's schedule. Brandon will be there. But yeah, that time frame's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Prometheus says, I'm still believing in Bigfoot. Me too. And I just want to see the documentary. I'm going to go in probably today and have it on in the background again. I'm going to find some more reactions to it. It's coming out every day. Again, after the program, just type in capturing Bigfoot. And you'll see all these things that are happening. And then you'll be ready to go. You'll be ready to go. Yeah, I can't pull it off this way. Well, I got baseball all weekend. Yeah, I mean, we got Longwood coming in this weekend, and it's the same schedule, except it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the Friday game's at 6, Saturday game's at 4. So there goes your afternoon, there goes your evening, and then Sunday. So I think probably after mid-May might be the best time to try to schedule the BDST meetup. Because there's too many weekends. Either I'm doing baseball or softball. Hey, Wayne. Wayne had a picture with Tim Daly? Yeah. Don't know which one's Tim and which one's you, Wayne. You're so dashing. Yeah. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tomorrow's the Hump Day Wednesday edition. It's going to be cold today. Bundle up. It's going to be cold all weekend, all week, right? It warms up Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday it's 45. Why? Going to rain, though, Friday. Uh-oh. We may have to look at baseball adjustments. Brandon, get on that. Baseball schedule adjustments. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on the Wednesday edition. Remember, subscribe, like, and share the channel, and we'll see you.